Hi. I am teacher James. Today we are going to learn about the adventures of Odysseus. Before we explore the adventures of Odysseus, let us first know the basic facts related to the story.
Epic poem. It is a long narrative poem. Epic hero. A man who seems able to conquer most problems he encounters although he does not possess superpowers. The Adventures of Odysseus refers to the delays and obstacles that Odysseus had to overcome in order to return home from the Trojan War. The characters. A man who is faithful to his family, country and God. He is brave, although he often feels fear. He died at the age of 60. Telemachus, son of Odysseus and Penelope. Agamemnon, king of Mycenae and commander of the Greek expedition to Troy, he was assassinated by his wife and her lover upon his return home. Tiresias, the blind seer of Thebes, he meets Odysseus in the land of the dead, warns him of impending dangers, offers advice, and foretells a later quest and a long life. Cassandra, King Priam's daughter. Apollo gifted her the ability to tell fortune in order to win her heart, however the gift was turned down by Cassandra. Athena, sometimes called Pallas Athena or Pallas, she frequently intervenes on Odysseus or Telemachus' behalf, often in disguise and sometimes as mentor, the prince's advisor. Telemachus, also known as the Cyclops, the one-eyed cannibal giant who traps Odysseus and a scouting party in his cave and is blinded when they escape. Poseidon, god of the sea and father of Polyphemus, he seeks revenge on Odysseus for blinding his son. Calypso, a goddess nymph, she holds Odysseus captive for 7 years, sleeping with him, hoping to marry him, and releasing him only at Zeus' order. Agamemnon, a goddess enchantress who turns some of Odysseus' crew into swine, she reverses the spell and becomes Odysseus' lover for a year, advising him well when he departs. Aeolus, master of the winds, he helps Odysseus get within viewing distance of Ithaca but later abandons the voyager, concluding that anyone so unlucky must be cursed.
We are now equipped with the basic facts that we should know upon studying the adventures of Odysseus. So let us now unveil the long journey of Odysseus.
The Adventures of Odysseus. After Troy fell, everything changed. Athena and Poseidon no longer blessed Greeks because they forgot what was due to gods. On their voyage home, they were all punished. Athena punished Greeks because Cassandra clung to Athena's image for protection during the Trojan War. However, the Greek didn't leave her. Cassandra got dragged away from Athena's temple and was raped. Athena got angry. She asked Poseidon to punish the sailors. Poseidon made the Greeks unable to sail home directly, but wandering around. Agamemnon came near to losing all his ships. Menelaus was blown to Egypt. Ajax was drowned. and Odysseus was made to wander for 10 years. After leaving Troy, they stopped to raid this island for supplies, but the opponents attacked on horseback, and Odysseus lost 72 of his men. Odysseus sent his men out to search for food. Unfortunately, they ate lotus flowers. That caused the men to lose their desire to return home. Lotus is a plant that forces the eater to lose all grip on reality. Once it is eaten, the person cares for nothing other than eating. Odysseus and his men found Polyphemus' cave. They were lured by the foods inside it. They didn't notice the presence of Polyphemus, so they got trapped in the cave. Odysseus and his men tricked Polyphemus. He was telling him stories while letting Polyphemus drink wine. He said that his name is Nobody. He waited until the Cyclops got drunk. Odysseus and his men poked out the eye of Polyphemus. The next morning, Odysseus tied his men beneath the belly of the ships to be able to escape the plagues. Polyphemus shouted that nobody has blinded him, but he got ignored by his brothers. Odysseus revealed that he is the one who blinded Polyphemus, that made Poseidon angry. Aeolus, god of the wind, gave Odysseus all the bad wings, so he can safely sail home. But Odysseus' men go against the order and open the back, so all the wind escaped. The wind blew them into another island. reached the island where giant people and cannibal lives. The giants ate Odysseus' men and destroyed 11 of his 12 ships by launching rocks from the high cliffs. The ship where Odysseus is riding did not get destroyed, as it was hidden. Circe turned men into pigs. Odysseus didn't get transformed because of Hermes' help. He gave him moly so that he would be protected from the magic spell. Circe fell in love with Odysseus. Circe listened and followed Odysseus' commands. They lived in Iliad happily for a year. Before they left, Circe offered Odysseus next tip to get home. She told him to go and see Tiresias, who was located in the underworld. Odysseus said the chief danger was that they might do injury to the oxen of the sun. Odysseus kept following Circe's tip to sail home. He knew that they would pass the island of Sirens. Sirens were marvelous singers whose voices would make a man forget all else. In order not to hear sirens singing, every man needed to stop his ears with beeswax. However, Odysseus would like to hear their voices. He asked his crew to tie him on the mast when they passed by the Sirens. Odysseus chooses to sail for Scylla, a six-headed sea serpent, rather than Charybdis, a giant whirlpool. He did this because he knew that if he went to Charybdis, the whole ship would be destroyed. However, if he went towards Scylla, 6 men would die, a sacrifice that brave Odysseus decided to make. In the island, the crew ate the cattle because they were hungry. Odysseus forced his men to swear an oath forbidding them from eating the cattle. However, after the food supply depletes, the men began to eat the cattle. Odysseus finds this island after leaving the city. It is an island of women, with a nymph named Calypso, with whom Odysseus had a 7-year affair with. After the 7 years, Hermes convinced Calypso to let Odysseus build a new ship, so he could sail home. The Phaeacians accept Odysseus, and he explained his 10-year journey to them during the feast that they had prepared. They happily give him a ride home on one of their magical ships. Odysseus finally arrived home. Athena disguised him as a beggar, so he can remain hidden while he analyzes the loyalty of his friend and family. He confronts his son Telemachus and reveals his identity to him. Penelope laid down a challenge to the suitors. Any one of them who can string Odysseus' bow and shoot it through the axe handles like Odysseus used to do would be her choice. Needless to say, none of them could do it until the beggar got a chance. He was ridiculed as he tried, but Odysseus shot the arrow perfectly. Athena then changed his appearance to his previous one. The suitors were struck. It was then that Odysseus and Telemachus began their attack. With the help of Athena and Zeus, they slaughtered all the suitors. Odysseus, his father, Telemachus, and other loyal servants meet them in battle. Laertes killed Antinous' father with a lance. Zeus soon commands the fighting stop. Odysseus claimed the title.
So, that is the adventures of Odysseus. Now, I will ask you some questions related to the story. What is your reflection toward Odysseus's wandering story, and what part in the story did attracted you the most? Now, will you describe Odysseus' character in terms of the good choices and the poor choices he made? So I hope that you have learned something on our lesson today. Bye.